The 12s bring the noise and help the Seahawks get a 37-27 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show. This is our post-game show for Seattle Seahawks versus Carolina Panthers, and we are happy to be bringing you this one again because we got another victory. So let's get into it. All right, as I said, the 12s brought the noise in this one. This place was absolutely electric throughout this entire game. And seriously, the 12s, you fans, what this show is all about, you know, being a fan, you guys brought it and helped the Seahawks get a victory. You led the way, helping them on the field by causing 8 false starts on the Carolina Panthers. That was absolutely amazing. All right, so yeah, that was pretty awesome. We're going to go ahead and get into some details of this game in just a moment. What you got to know, we won the game 37-27. Going into this game, we had a lot of players out due to injury or playing this game through injuries. Kobe Bryant was out. Charles Cross was out. We know we're still missing Jamal Adams. Will Dissly was out. Phil Haynes was out. Tariq Woolen was out. Julian Love played through a hamstring injury. Jaron Reed played through a groin injury. DK Metcalf playing through a rib injury. Derek Hall playing through a shoulder injury. Devin Bush playing through a shoulder injury. Boye Mafe playing through a knee injury. Evan Brown playing through a knee injury. Noah Fant also playing with hurt ribs. I mean, it was just ridiculous. We talked about it the other day, right? Just some of the players that were going to be injured and out for the Carolina Panthers because they were going to be missing their #1 overall pick, Bryce Young. And we had some injuries throughout the week where players were not practicing or they were taking light in practice that we were hoping, okay, well, they're hopefully going to be healthy in time and going to be playing at game. And that did not happen. Like I said, Woolen ended up, I think the last episode we recorded, we know that Woolen had been taking a rest, but he had not been ruled completely out yet. Well, between then and obviously now, before the game time started, he was ruled out, and Tariq Woolen didn't play. So that was hard. And then during the game, we had Damian Lewis, another offensive lineman, go down, hurt his hand. He came out. Trey Brown got a concussion and had to leave the game. So at one point, after Damian Lewis had his hand injury, we had 4 of our backup linemen playing on the offensive line. Trey Brown went down with concussion, so that means Trey Brown, Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant. We're all, all your top corners from last year out of the game. Luckily, we had our #5 pick, who we'll talk about more, of course, in a moment. And he was playing the part of the #5 overall pick, so that ended up being good. But the point is, we were missing a lot of top players from this game. And again, we're only 3 weeks into the season, so we're piling up injuries here already. Like I said, maybe it's going to end up being a good thing that our bye week is in week 5. luckily for us, we got the win here in week 3. And for week 4, we have the Monday night game, which is going to be amazing on October 2nd. That means we also have that extra day to prepare and hopefully get people ready and healthy for next week. We'll talk more about that at the end of this episode. For now, let's go ahead and start getting into more of the details of this game. Offensively, what I saw, obviously in the first half, it was a problem not finishing drives. Luckily, this week, we didn't have any problems with Jason Myers kicking. He hit all his field goals. He was 5 for 5 on the day, but we were not finishing drives with touchdowns. We kept getting down to the red zone and then not punching it in the first half. So that was not great to see. Also, in the first half, our run game was still not consistent in the first half of the game. K9 was still hitting a couple of explosive plays here and there in the first half, but wasn't consistent. Thankfully, again, in the second half, we got things going, and we got great production out of K9 and Zach Charbonnet. They were moving the ball down the field multiple ways, both of them catching passes, both of them making hard-nosed runs, seeing both of them with their unique styles, right? With just how elusive K9 can be, and the just absolute power that Zach Charbonnet has. Like we all already know that Kenneth Walker, we call him K9, right? Because he's Kenneth Walker, he's got the K, and then he wears the number 9, so we call him K9. That's his nickname. But remember, Zach in college, he was the Terminator. Okay, that was his nickname because he could absolutely terminate people like he did to that defensive back of the Panthers today when he was running. I mean, he just sent that man flying. Just absolute disrespect to that man. He sent him back like 5, 6, 7 yards flying through the air. It was absolutely amazing. So that was good to see that they finally got it going in the second half. We want to see that more consistently throughout the entire game. Geno Smith, he did not have his best game. I noticed he missed a couple of throws. It wasn't like he missed a lot, but he missed a couple of throws. But what I did see is that he did miss some open receivers a few times. Not that he missed them, but he just didn't see them. So there was times where there was a couple other options that he could have made there was some better options he had on certain plays that he could hit that could have got bigger gains. So I would say, obviously the first game was not good. If we're ranking him, this would be his second best game because the first game was not good at all, right? Wasn't very good efficiency. Second game, he played phenomenally. Just had the one bad play where he took the sack, and then this game, it was a little bit more. If we were going to give letter grades, I would give it a B, just for the fact that there was a couple missed throws and some receivers he just didn't hit that could have been bigger gains. Thankfully, like I said, at halftime, they came back out. They finally got things going, established, got things consistent on the offensive side of the ball, and they were finishing with touchdowns in the second half. What more can you say? That's exactly what they were hoping to do, and they got it done. Would they score like 25 points in the second half? Yeah, 25 points in the second half. So they did great in the second half of the game. Defensively, Witherspoon, my goodness, he was looking good in coverage and against the run. He looked worthy of the number 5 overall pick. Uh, he looked every bit worth the draft pick, that high of a draft pick, right? They targeted him 11 times on passes, right? Because he's the rookie, so you wanna test him. You want to see, is he for real? Is he the real deal? So, the Panthers got to test him. They have veteran players over there. Bryce Young was out, so they have a veteran quarterback, Andy Dalton, playing. They got to try to use his veteran savvy and see if they can test this young rookie, right? Well, they targeted him 11 times. He only allowed 3 catches for a total of 19 yards. He also had 11 tackles on the day. He was huge again in the running game. Like we saw last week against Detroit, how he bit on a play that was a potential running play that ended up being the flea flicker, right? Well, we saw how amazing his run support can be, and how special that is. I mean, we all know that. We saw that with the Legion of Boom, who was here for the week and was here for this game and was celebrated at halftime, by the way. But we saw that with those corners that we had here at the time, right? When you have corners who can get involved in the run game, that is huge. And like Pete Carroll said, he compared Devin Witherspoon to Troy Polamalu, somebody who he coached and knows very well. He compared him to him, and saying that this is the type of skill and player that Witherspoon can be. And again, in this game, he looked like it. If he's going to play like this every game, just wait till Woolen comes back. They're saying Julian Love is looking like he's going to be ready to play next week. Just wait till we actually have. In all 3 games that we've played so far, we have not had a healthy backfield. Next week, and depending what happens with Trey Brown, but we should have 2 starting corners, the ones that we expect to be the starters going forward, starting at the same time, which we haven't had yet. So that would be absolutely amazing if we can get that to happen. Because if Witherspoon looks as good he does now, and Woolen gets back on the field, and they're both playing at the level that they play at the same time, it's gonna be fun to watch. I will say it wasn't all great though. Still a lot of miscommunication in the backfield, especially from our safeties. That was leading to a lot of busted coverage, and it did allow the Panthers to gain a lot of yards through the air, and and score more points than they should have in this game. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at those numbers. Okay, so if we pull up the stats here, we'll run through the Seahawks first, because again, they were amazing. Geno Smith, he was 23 for 36, 296 yards, 8.2 average. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had 2 sacks. His QBR was 60.8. His overall rating 87.3. So again, not a phenomenal day from Geno, not a bad day, just an average day. Wasn't one of his best days. Rushing wise, K9, 18 carries for 97 yards, 5.4 average, 2 touchdowns. Amazing. Again, his long 36 yards. Loves the way that he can hit those explosive plays. Let's see here. Zach Charbonnet, 9 carries today. Loved seeing that they got him in the mix a little bit more in this game, because when they did, it was awesome. 9 carries, 46 yards, 5.1 yard average. His long was 12. But again, if you saw the way he was punishing players on on each of those 9 runs that he had. It was amazing. And again, especially that one where he was ended up getting knocked out of the bounds just a couple yards away from the goal line, but he sent that man absolutely flying through the air. Total on the day as a team, we had 33 carries for 146 yards, 4.4 average. That is exactly what the Seahawks want to do every week. Every week. If the Seahawks can get around 30 carries total as a team, get about 150 yards and average a little over 4 yards per carry as a team, they're going to end up getting the consistency that they want as a whole from their offense and the efficiency that they want out of their offense, because that's just going to help the passing game that much more as well. And speaking of that passing game, receiving wise, Metcalf had 6 receptions for 112 yards, 18.7 yards for average. No touchdowns today, but he was amazing out there, just making big catches all over the field. K9 also had 3 receptions for 59 yards, 19.7 yards on average. So he was hitting big. You could tell, there's been a lot of talk that K9 is not a great receiver, right? And still, when he's running out of the backfield, I don't know what it is about the routes he runs when he's out of the backfield. He seems to not run them very well, and he doesn't catch very well. But when he's lined up as a receiver, it's looking pretty good. And he said himself, post game, apparently he would play receiver sometimes in high school, and he says he likes playing the position. So maybe it's just because he never got used in college as a receiving back that we think he can't receive, or maybe it's just the fact that he doesn't run the routes well out of the backfield. Maybe he just knows how to run a route better when he's already lined up as a receiver. I don't know what it is, but he looked good in this game receiving. Like he has the ability to catch the ball. He has some hands. We saw it in this game. So I love to see it. Hopefully that's a weapon that they can continue to use with him. Noah Fant, 4 receptions, 41 yards. Again, keeping the tight ends active in this game. Colby Parkinson also had 3 receptions for 38 yards. Tyler Lockett got in here today, 3 receptions with 34 yards. That 2-point conversion was amazing. Everybody's talking about the way how similar that was to Russell Wilson play, right? With Geno Smith dancing around back there in circles and then throwing it all the way across to the other side of the end zone across the field, right? But everybody needs to go watch that play and watch Tyler Lockett catch the ball. Watch him, because he's being defended, right? And he's being brought down to the ground as he's catching that ball. Watch the way that man secures the ball in his arm to make sure it doesn't hit the ground, and he secures it and gets the 2-point. That was an amazing catch. Yes, it was neat what Geno Smith was doing back there, right? Doing all that dancing around, spinning around circles, looking like a young Russell Wilson, and then making a huge throw across the field, like a throw you would normally, as a coach, if you were a coach, you would never want your quarterback to make that type of throw, right? But he gets it there, and we really, really got to give credit to the receiver for making an amazing catch. Sometimes the quarterbacks are bailed out by their playmakers, right? And this is a play where Tyler Lockett just came up with an amazing catch. JSN, he just had 1 catch a day for 10 yards. So again, that's one where I'd like to see JSN get mixed in a little bit more, but or when he's open to be targeted, because when he's running his routes, he's open. Now the Seahawks, they have been using their tight ends a lot, so we're not seeing JSN on the field quite as much as we thought we would. But I think they're taking it slow with him. You're kind of seeing this across the league. There's other rookies in the NFL at wide receiver who they had to step in and take over the number 2 or number 1 wide receiver spot like right away this year, right? And JSN, he's the first wide receiver taken. So you're thinking, oh, maybe he's gonna make a big splash right away, but he's got 2 great veterans ahead of him. So he's still the 3rd option, and I kind of like that they're taking their time working him in to the game. Another rookie, undrafted rookie that we got to see today, Jake Bobo, doing stuff all over the field, making blocks, working hard, and it pays off. He makes a 1 reception in the game for 5 yards, but it's for a touchdown. Amazing, amazing touchdown for Jake Bobo. More Bobo, please. That's what we want to see. All right, so that was receiving wise, and then defensively again, Devin Witherspoon, 11 total tackles on the day, leading the team with that. Jordan Brooks had 9. It was good to see him. Again, he's just really, coming into his own after injury last year. Only a couple of years in the league now. We've been waiting for him to break out. He's really seeming like he's taking over this team at the linebacker position. We love Bobby Wagner, who had 5 tackles on the day, by the way. He's the locker room leader, but it's these young guys that we have to see step up to be taking over for the next generation. It's good to see Jordan Brooks making that step. Jaron Reed, great to have him back, right? Had 8 tackles today, 1.5 sacks, a tackle for loss. I should say Jordan Brooks had half a sack as well. So that was good. Mike Jackson, a pretty good day, right? 6 tackles. Julian Love, 5 tackles. Again, not the greatest coverage today from Julian Love, but he was making the tackles when he needed to. I'm actually kind of surprised by this. Artie Burns, he had 5 tackles today, but I'm very much prepared to say that he did not have a good day out there. He was getting picked on. He was not making good tackles today. He missed a ton of tackles. But what can you do? Again, this is you're like 5th man down the depth chart, but it was necessary for him to play because of all the injuries that we had. So I don't want to give him too hard of a time because he's kind of got thrown in there like middle of the week. Was like a practice squad guy that then had to get promoted, and then you're thrown into having to be on the field most of the game. So not exactly easy for the player in that type of situation. But if he wants to be noticed and get some more playing time, he's going to have to tackle better than he did today. No interceptions today. DJ Dallas again had a great day, returning kicks. Return 2 for 55 yards total. Punt returns 3 for 41. Again, those were pretty awesome. A couple of ones that looked like they were going to be iffy, but then he turned them into big returns. Jason Myers 5 for 5, and Dixon, he was a great punting, averaging 46.5 yards per punt. I mean, the guy's good. All right, so that was our numbers. Great numbers that we had, but here's what we allowed, right? Andy Dalton was 34 for 58, the most attempts he's ever had in his career. 58 attempts, 361 yards. We allowed 361 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. We did sack him 3 times. So his QBR was just 45.1 and his rating was 88.4. So again, even though we allowed all those yards, it wasn't like he had a great day, or that he was like this phenomenal player. But throughout the game, we were allowing uh, yards, so it was a little bit tough to see. Again, just because we were feeling like this could be a team that we could potentially dominate, um, and that just definitely did not happen. I mean, we won 37-27. Yeah, we won by 10, but I don't remember exactly what I said my prediction was, but I was hoping for like a 27-10 type of game where they don't score very much, but we definitely let them score and let them move the ball. Rushing wise, Sanders had 9 carries for 24 yards. Dalton had a couple of rushes, and I mean total though, for their team wise, again, we're loving what we're seeing from the run defense. They had 14 carries total as a team for 44 yards, just a 3.1 yard average. That is what we want to see from this team, rushing defensively. Because again, if we line this up with a healthy backfield that's hopefully coming next week, then you take that rush defense that has been consistent over these first few weeks, and then you sync that up with what we feel should be a good pass defense once we have all of our once we actually have a healthy defensive backfield there, then this defense is going to be good. I know I definitely, we're not talking about being bottom of the league. We're talking about being in the top half of the league if we can get both of these units healthy on the field at the same time. We did allow Adam Thielen to have 11 receptions for 145 yards and a touchdown. He was looking like a young player again, right? And that's the problem with the Seahawks the last couple of years. We get old veterans like Andy Dalton, Adam Thielen getting in here and looking like they're young again. I don't know what it is, but the Seahawks just seem to have a problem with old aging veterans. DJ Chark, they allowed 4 receptions for 86 yards. Miles Sanders had 5 for 38. Terrace Marshall Jr. had 5 for 35. Jonathan Mingo 3 for 21, and that was basically it. Right? They had 2 touchdowns passing. Like I said, we got to be better in pass defense, but hopefully that's going to improve with healthy defensive backs returning. What else? I mean, the rest of their numbers we don't really need to go over, so good for them. But here's the team stats that we want to go over. Okay, so third down efficiency. This is something that I think is one of the most important things. We were 3 for 13 on third down. They were 10 for 19, so we allowed them to be way too efficient on third down. We got to get off the field on third down. Again, that was them picking on, our defensive backfield that was so injured and an underperforming safeties that we have right now. And then for us, 3 for 13, that was the difference in the red zone. We were not converting on third down in the red zone. Imagine, because we had 5 field goals, right? So pretend that we get, obviously 5 of those third downs happened in the red zone. If we convert on those third downs, then that would put us at 8 and 13. Right? So right there, then you'd be saying, "Oh wow, that was really good efficiency." But we were not efficient in the red zone. We were not efficient on third down. We got to see that improve. We don't want to keep waiting till second half for the team to be efficient on third down and to be efficient in the red zone. You gotta get that better. That's got to be better if we're going to be successful going forward on the year, and that will play right into time of possession. We barely, it was basically even. It was basically 50-50. We had 30 minutes and 28 seconds of possession. So it was basically 50-50 in this game. Now again, imagine you're in the red zone. You convert on third down and you don't have to take the field goal. That you're adding just those a couple extra plays that you're getting. You're adding in on 5 different possessions. You're adding in a good anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes in there, and that's wearing down the other team's defense. Again, and then also if you're finishing those drives off with touchdowns instead of field goals, that's just putting so much more pressure on their offense, giving them less options in the playbook to go to, making it even easier on your defense. That's why that third down efficiency and red zone efficiency is so important. So they gotta get that improved. Total on the day 425 yards, just the 1 turnover. We had 27 first downs, which is great. That we had 27 first downs. We just need more of the third downs, to be converted. So there's the numbers. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and harp on too much. We won. I'm happy that we won, and I'm a fan of this team. I already mentioned the things I want to see improve, and hopefully they're going to get those things improved before the next game. Again, they have a whole extra day to get everybody healthy, a whole extra day to practice and work on these things and address things in the film room, right? So that was the game. Let's go ahead and talk about what was said after the game. In the post-game interviews, Pete Carroll, he praises the 12s, says how awesome they were for causing the 8 false starts against the Panthers. He talked just about how huge it was to get the execution that they were looking for in the second half. And he said the first half was just obvious. They need to get better in the red zone. I mean, he didn't really have much more to say that, and he just basically said go watch. It just didn't. It wasn't working out for us. We got to convert and do better on third downs in the red zone. He said he was really proud of his players because, again, a lot of players were injured in this game. He said a lot of players were playing with injuries who didn't get to practice much during the week, and they, toughed it out and played anyways. So we had a lot of players who were out. So we had people, we had backups playing, and then the players that we did have play, they were playing hurt and toughed it out. So he was really glad to see the grit from those players. And like you said, they need to do more of what they did in the second half throughout the entire game, so they can establish consistency. That's a word that Pete is using himself as well. Consistency. You gotta be consistent throughout the game to really make defenses have to honor what you're trying to do and what you want to do. He was really excited for Jake Bobo to get the touchdown, and he said, he's been impressed with a lot of the stuff that Jake Bobo is doing on the field, not just running routes, but in pass blocking and being in the places that he needs to be on the field to help other players be open or to help spring a player, give them a open lane for running. And then he just talked a little bit about Witherspoon, saying that he's big time, and he said you can just watch the game to see that. He said, with the multiple breakups that he had, double-digit tackles, he said you could just watch it and you could see how great he is. I mean, and that's all you really need. You can look at the stats and you'll see them, but to really understand how good this player is, you gotta watch. You gotta see where he's positioning himself on the field in relation to the receivers and where the ball's being thrown, where he's positioning himself throughout the route that the receiver is running. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You're seeing why he was a number 5 pick. And remember, it wasn't like he was going to fall much farther. Detroit said it themselves. If the Seahawks didn't take Witherspoon, they were going to take him with the next pick. So he was thought of being that high. It wasn't like the Seahawks were reaching way up there, right? So you saw it show up in the last game, and then you really saw it show up in this game. You're seeing, okay, it wasn't like the one-time game. He's really got these skills. And then he did say again that Jamal and Woolen they both have a great chance to play next week. So I would love to see them both on the field at the same time with Witherspoon, and just see how dangerous this how dangerous this backfield could be. And then he was like really fired up about Zach and Kenneth Walker, and how they're both uniquely special, he said, and that they're both do things in their own unique way, and that he's fired up about getting them both consistent carries and working Zach in more. So I'm really excited to see that too, because I think they're going to be one of the strongest 1-2 punches in the NFL if they can get them both carries consistently. K9 is going to be your main guy. So to me, if you can get Zach worked in consistently as well, that means your whole offense is running efficiently the way you want it to. So the more we see Zach on the field, that's only a good sign that the offense is doing what it's supposed to be doing that day. Geno Smith was up there on the podium as well today, saying like he felt like the O-line took over in the second half, and that is what helped them finish off drives in the second half. He was so happy for Jake Bobo, also saying, because the guy just works so hard that you're happy that he's, whenever he gets some sort of success on the field. And then he said it was awesome to watch Zach run guys over and watch K9 juke guys out of their shoes. So he was having fun watching those guys run. And he gave credit to the 12s, helped getting a win today as well. He talked about how it was great having the 2013 team around so much this week, and how it was great having them here for this game and to get a win in front of them. Jordan Brooks was up there today. He says he feel like they're getting better each week on defense, and that the defense has a better understanding on how to stop the run this year, and that everyone on this team buys into the plan this year. And you're going to hear maybe that's kind of a common theme that gets said by defenders on this team. He said having Jaron Reed back and his toughness and mentality is also key to helping stop the run this year. And so Jaron Reed's leadership also is helping out in the locker room. He says the 2013 team being around helped fill this team with energy, and he's excited for Jamal Adams to come back next week, because Jordan Brooks and Jamal Adams did their rehab together, and so he says he knows how hard Jamal has been working, and he's excited to see him potentially play next week, and get to show all the hard work that he's been putting in to get back on the field. K9 was up on the podium today, and he was giving credit to the O-line for his and Zach's success. And he was saying that he believes Zach can make plays just as much as he can, and that the team's going to have a lot of success with both of them. He said, like I said, he likes playing receiver, and that he would play receiver in high school sometimes. So maybe he's got some decent hands or can run decent route trees from the wide receiver position. He also mentioned it was fun having the 2013 team around this week, and he said he was even talking to Doug before today's game. Again, everybody mentioning, just like K9 is here, how the 12s were bringing a lot of energy today, and he was feeding off of it. Geno Smith had a nice little blocker. He at least stood in somebody's way on one of K9's runs, and they asked him about it in the post game show there, and he said he didn't even see because he was just running. He didn't see Geno out there blocking, so he didn't even see the blocker seeing him getting in the way. But yeah, that was funny. They have. And he was saying, they just have a man up mentality, and he's confident that any of the offensive linemen can get the job done. Because again, they were at one point in time in the game, there was a time where they had 4 backups on the field, and they were still getting the job done. DK Metcalf was up on the podium for like a minute, and he basically just was like, yeah, they didn't want to repeat the second half that they had against the Rams, so they wanted to make sure that now this time at home that they came out in the second half and did what they were supposed to do. And he said the 12s helped them get the win, so they had to play for the 12s because they were giving so much energy out there. He was saying Bobo is hell of a player and he works hard, and he was happy for him because he works hard and does things the right way. And he gave credit to K9 and Zach in the running game and how their performance made it easier on them in the passing game. Now, Jaron Reed, again, so glad to have him back with the Hawks. And he was saying that the defense, again, is taking steps in the right direction. After he got his sack today, he thought it was only right to honor Michael Bennett, since the 2013 team is here this week being honored, and he did Michael Bennett's sack celebration. And he said, it takes all 11 on defense to stop the run, and he said everyone on this team is bought in. He wasn't here last year, but he knows that it's important for everybody to buy in. And again, you heard that from a few of the defenders on this team this week, and we heard it from some defensive linemen that left the team this year to go to other teams, or that the Seahawks just didn't bother to resign and went to other teams, and how they would say, "Oh well, that scheme just doesn't fit me." So I didn't like playing there. Well, you're hearing multiple players that were on last year's team, and now players that are coming back here, or just players who are here for the first time this year, who are saying, "Oh, well, yeah, we all buy into this plan. That's why it's working, because everybody here thinks that this is a good plan." So if we now know that there was multiple players on the team last year, for whatever reason, just didn't buy into doing what they were being told to do, that makes a big difference. And we're seeing how big of a difference that's making this year. I mean, we are stuffing the run this year. I haven't looked up the stats, but I would venture to guess that we are one of the better run defending teams so far this year. And it sounds like everybody's buying in, and the people who are leaders in that room are bought in, and that's helping everybody else buy in. And yeah, that was the game. That was all our post game comments as well. Again, like I said, we saw Damian Lewis injured and Trey Brown injured, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that and see if they're going to be ready for next week's game against the Giants, who, again, this is another team. Wow, they've been up and down, right? Daniel Jones been really up and down, so hopefully we can take advantage of that and bring it to them, right? But for now, let's just go ahead and celebrate the win that we got this week, a 37-27 win over the Carolina Panthers. And make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you felt about this game. What was your favorite play of this game? I want to know. Again, my favorite play has got to be when Zach Charbonnet absolutely knocked the soul out of that man's body. that was great to me. But what was your favorite play? How are you feeling about how they looked in the first half with those field goals? You know, 4 field goals in the first half and not finishing off drives. Do you think that's you know, going to be the norm, or do you think the second half is what this team is going to be going forward? You know, a team that can finish off in the red zone. All right, let me know in those comments. You know, also, if you're listening on the podcast, leave a review, a 5-star rating. That all helps out the show. Oh, and by the way, I do have the Discord set up. It's just me in there right now, but I'm going to post a link. I'll put it in the show notes for the podcast, or you know, if you're on YouTube, you know, look in the description. I'll have the link posted in there. So if you want to join the Discord, I think it's going to be a great way to, you know, have just a great place for fans to you know, come together and you know, either celebrate wins like this or console each other in losses when we have the losses, because there will be losses. All right. Yeah, so make sure you go join that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I have another video game community that I started and I run that has like over 300 people. So, you know, I'm hoping that we can get something like that for us Seattle sports fans. All right. So go Hawks. Until next time, this has been the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle sports. And obviously, we love the Seattle Seahawks getting the wins. Go Hawks.